The fall of Europe. A grim look into the future of the European Union. Welcome to this in-depth exposé, The Fall of Europe. A grim look into the future of the European Union. My name is Felix. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll guide you through a powerful journey into what was once considered one of the world's greatest socio-political experiments, the European Union. What began as a beacon of peace and prosperity has gradually, and perhaps irreversibly, transformed into a bureaucratic machine plagued by division, instability, and decay. In this documentary, we will explore the euro currency and how it binds nations into a common fate. We'll break down Europe's economic stagnation, the mass migration crises, growing social unrest, the crumbling of freedom and democratic values, and the looming threat of civil conflict or collapse. You don't need to be a political expert or economist to understand what's coming. This video is designed to be clear, factual, and above all, honest. Because the truth is grim. Part 1, The Rise and Idealism of the European Union. After the horrors of World War II, European nations were desperate for peace. They believed that economic unity would prevent another devastating war. And so began the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951, countries trading together so tightly they could never again go to war. Over the decades, treaties like Maastricht, 1992, and Lisbon, 2007, turned a loose trade alliance into a political superstructure, the European Union. A powerful idea was born, of borderless movement, common laws, and shared prosperity. People could travel, live, and work freely across the continent. Students studied abroad. Workers relocated without visas. Businesses expanded across borders. The euro, launched in 1999, was the crown jewel, a single currency meant to unite economies and eliminate national divisions. But what looked like unity became a cage. Part 2, The Euro Crisis and Economic Decline. The euro was a dream for many. But dreams can become nightmares. When countries joined the eurozone, they gave up control over their monetary policy. They could no longer adjust interest rates or print money to stabilize their economies. The European Central Bank, ECB, took control, and it sets the rules for all, regardless of individual needs. During the 2008 financial crisis, southern countries like Greece, Spain, and Italy were devastated. Unemployment soared. Governments begged for bailouts. But Germany, the EU's economic engine, demanded harsh austerity in return, cut pensions, reduce salaries, close hospitals. People suffered. The ECB, designed to protect the currency, did so at the cost of national dignity. Youth unemployment reached 50% in Greece. In Italy, entire regions never recovered. Meanwhile, northern countries thrived. A two-speed Europe emerged, the rich and the forgotten. Now, inflation eats away at savings. Wages stagnate. Young people flee their homelands. And all of it, in the name of a currency. Part 3, Emigration and the Drain of Europe's Future. Europe once dreamed of progress through unity. But what happens when your future leaves you? Across Spain, Portugal, Greece, and Eastern Europe, millions of young people have packed their bags, not just for better pay, but for survival. In places like Bulgaria and Romania, entire villages have been emptied. Talented professionals, students, and entrepreneurs have moved to Germany, the UK, before Brexit, and beyond. This is called brain drain, when the most educated and capable people leave. And while their new homes benefit, their native countries suffer, fewer taxpayers, fewer workers, fewer children being born. Meanwhile, immigration, often unskilled and culturally incompatible, enters the gap. Instead of investing in their own youth, governments are managing decline. The result? A continent losing its future. Part 4, Immigration and Social Fracture. In 2015, more than 1 million migrants flooded into Europe, many fleeing war, others seeking economic opportunity. Germany opened its borders. Sweden welcomed record numbers. The EU preached solidarity. But integration failed. Across Western Europe, parallel societies have formed, districts where police hesitate to enter, where Sharia law is quietly enforced, where resentment grows on both sides. Attacks in Paris, Brussels, Berlin, and Nice shocked the continent. From truck attacks to stabbings, terror became part of life. And with every incident, trust in multiculturalism eroded. At the same time, the far right grew. From Left in Germany to Le Pen in France, people began to revolt at the ballot box. The dream of unity now faces an identity crisis. Who is European? What does Europe stand for? Part 5, Pensions, Poverty and Europe's Aging Demography. Europe is getting old, and fast. Italy's birth rate is at a historic low. Germany is not far behind. France, despite a better fertility rate, struggles with aging and care costs. Pensions, once generous and stable, are cracking. Fewer workers are supporting more retirees. Retirement ages are rising. Public anger is boiling. In the Netherlands, protests erupted when pension benefits were slashed. In France, millions marched against raising the retirement age. Worse yet, elderly poverty is growing. Lifelong workers now choose between food or heating. And if trends continue, some experts predict Western Europe will lose 20 to 30% of its population by 2100. The welfare state is dying. Part 6, The Death of Freedom and Equality. Europe once championed liberty, equality, fraternity. But now, those values are being redefined. Freedom of speech is increasingly limited under the guise of preventing hate speech. Citizens are jailed or fined for tweets or opinions that challenge the status quo. Equality has become equity, forcing outcomes instead of opportunity. Quotas, identity politics, and censorship dominate. Meanwhile, bureaucrats in Brussels push forward the digital ID, tying your identity to your bank account, your travel, your vaccine status. CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, loom, with potential for total financial control. Under the flag of climate, speech, and security, Europe is becoming a soft surveillance state. The continent that gave birth to enlightenment now risks extinguishing it. Part 7, Security, Terrorism and Border Collapse. The Schengen area once symbolized Europe's open spirit, free movement without border checks. But that dream is now a security nightmare. From the Mediterranean to the Balkans, borders are overwhelmed. Smugglers, cartels, and even terror cells move freely. Countries like Hungary and Poland have erected fences, defying EU laws. Meanwhile, terror threats haven't disappeared. The scars of Bataclan, Charlie Hebdo, and Brussels remain. Thousands of radicalized individuals remain at large across the continent, many homegrown, others foreign fighters. Attacks are now subtler, knife stabbings, vehicle rammings, but their message is clear: Europe is vulnerable. In Sweden, explosions and gang violence have reached unprecedented levels. In France, riots paralyze cities. Citizens no longer feel safe. And yet, the EU's answer is more regulation, not real security. Part 8, The People versus the System, Social Unrest and the Coming Fracture. Europe's elites continue to push integration. But on the ground, revolt is brewing. Farmers block roads with tractors. Teachers strike. Police protest lack of support. In Paris, yellow vests light cars on fire. In Berlin, students occupy universities. In the Netherlands, citizens tear down wind farms being forced on them. Eastern Europe resists Western cultural imperialism. Poland and Hungary reject mass immigration and gender ideology. They are punished with legal threats and funding cuts. Urban areas become progressive enclaves. Rural areas feel abandoned. Trust erodes. The result? A fragmented society where no one feels heard, and everyone feels betrayed. This is no longer about politics. It's a battle for cultural survival. Part 9, The Final Stage, Possible Futures. Where does this all lead? Let's explore the three most likely, and terrifying, paths forward. Path 1, Total Control. Governments implement digital IDs, climate credits, CBDCs, and AI surveillance. Freedom is replaced with regulation. Compliance becomes currency. It's a technocratic dystopia where dissent is criminal. Path 2, Breakup and Balkanization. Nations begin leaving the EU. Frexit. Italexit. Nexit. A new Iron Curtain descends, this time between East and West Europe. Border checks return. Economic chaos ensues. The dream of unity dies. Path 3, Civil unrest and conflict. Riots become revolutions. Cities burn. Race wars, religious conflict, and poverty fuel a violent backlash. Martial law is declared. Military patrols return. Europe teeters on the edge of civil war. Each path is frightening, and each is now possible. The warning from history and my warning to all of you. The Roman Empire fell. So did the USSR. And the European Union may be next. It was born from noble ideas, peace, unity, prosperity. But without honesty, sovereignty, and shared values, even the noblest ideas can become nightmares. The time to act is now. Not with violence, but with truth. With courage. With voices that demand a return to sanity. Because if we don't fight for Europe's soul, we will mourn its grave. This is Felix, giving you a true and honest view of the future. If you like this video, like and subscribe for more honest views of the world we live in. See you next time.